Daybreak. The Daybreak Show.
The chances of the ruling party retaining power is as almost sure as Northern Star, because they don't really have formidable opponent the way things are. Not in the Abubakar Atiku, who has won the ticket of the PDP. PDP has weakened itself over the years and continue to be weakened, by its own actions and inactions. A number of people will not want to even relate with that party the way they used to be in the days of maybe Olusegun Obasanjo, Umaru Yar'Adua, and even Jonathan Goodluck. Now, a number of migration, those whose name ring bells in those days are no longer there, and those that are there, they are more or less newcomers. Now, talking about the ruling party may also shoot itself on the foot by not taking generality of people's perception into consideration. If they just think that they can do anything and get away with it, they might be surprised at the polls, because things are no longer the way they used to be. Things are changing. A number of hitherto political obscure people are coming upstage, and underground work is going on everywhere to motivate new breed politicians, not the type that IBB puts in place during his times, but new breed politicians are coming in the younger generation in Nigeria, and they are getting orientation, rightly or wrongly, that the existing political structures will not help to build their future the way they want it. So if the ruling party itself, despite all the power, despite all the might, despite all the experience, does not take all of those things into consideration, that this new orientation has an impression that they constitute a bloc that has mortgaged their future, they could not reorientate them correctly, that they can also safeguard that future for the upcoming youth, then the youth may turn against the existing political party. Not even the so-called third force can claim that it's being championed by the youthful element, because Peter Obi will be 61 or thereabouts, and anybody that is above 60 is an older person, an old generation. They call them senior citizens. So if a senior citizen becomes the president of the new generation, he will still look at things the way older generation look at them. The policies, the principles, the policies, and the practices of the new political structure will still be the same way it used to be, because Peter Obi himself is not a socialist, it's not even a welfareist, he's a pure capitalist. And don't forget that he had investment in the blue chip companies, including banks, including petroleum, including so many other ones like that, and his name appeared in Pandora Papers. And for those who have wealth stored in safe haven like Pandora, like Panama, like Paradise Papers, then they have a question to answer. Why would they look for a safe haven to keep certain money if those monies are not illicitly acquired? So all of these people are like what late Bola described as 5 fingers of a leprous hand. They are the same of the same old stock. Unless they change their ways and change the system of governance in Nigeria, things may remain the same for so long.
All right, so talking about changing their ways and governance, okay, now in this sense, when we keep having these old folks, okay, because I don't see them leaving the space just yet, and it doesn't even seem like the younger generation is ready for anything yet. Or what's your perception about that?
Well, the perception is that the younger generation are going to queue behind a particular candidate that will champion the cause of bettering their lives. But then that candidate is yet to be identified. Not even in Omoyele Sowore. Okay, the 38-year-old lady that could have been a true youth, because Omoyele Sowore himself is 51 years.
Yes.
So these people are getting older, and those who engage in primitive accumulation cannot say they are championing the cause of the Nigerian youth. So we are in a strait. But because the ruling party has a better structure, a more solidly put together structure, they have more governors, they have more members in the National Assembly, in both houses of National Assembly, and even in various states of the Federation. So they have the potentialities of still coming back, but not on the back of what they have done before. They have to change the way they do things.
Are you saying that what they've done before won't be enough to take them or make them fly? Let's come 2023.
They don't have good records of performance as far as the last 8 years of APC is concerned. The reason why we changed to APC was because we felt that PDP were not doing well. Now, when APC came, we expected a significant change in the way things are done. We wanted more industries to spring up. We wanted a more secure society. We wanted a more secure educational system. We wanted a better economy. We wanted stronger naira. We wanted better healthcare delivery. We wanted so much, food on the table, clothes on our backs. We don't have any of these. We have some level of improvement in the infrastructure. Good. But that is not enough. If you have good infrastructures and security system will not allow you to use it, then it is useless. So if we remember where we are coming from, in the olden days, nobody cared about, not traveling at any part of the day. As a matter of fact, some people prefer traveling at night. But these days, even traveling during the day, you have your heart in your mouth. Because if your vehicle should break down, you are not sure you will leave that place the way you got there, in one piece. Most of those that were kidnapped were traveling and they had broken down vehicles. So the security system has collapsed almost totally. So these are the things that voters should look at beyond inducement. If not they blinded by inducement, then they should know that their lives and livelihood are nosediving. Because of that, they should reconsider their opinions about even the current government. But then, if the present ruling party is smart enough, they should use their influence, the opportunity that is available to them to canvass new system of running our lives and make us believe them. they should sign a covenant with us, which will be unassailable, which they will not change. They should find a way of convincing every Tom, Dick, and Harry that they are going to change the entire system, that they will not allow primitive accumulation of wealth at the detriment of those who are less powerful, those who are not in power. They should not say because they have opportunity, they amass all the wealth that should be distributed along the citizenry, that every citizen should benefit from work and wealth of this country. So if they can convince us, they are likely to win election.
All right, Mr. Adeniran.
Yes.
Now, it's been said by some people that the 2023 polls is generally going to be between PDP and APC, and the third force has no place at all in this. Do you also think that way?
Well, the APC and PDP are like Siamese twins. Although one is better kitted than the other. Like I said,
which is better kitted now?
The ruling party is better kitted than the other because they have the power now. They have access to the coffers, to national pocket. They do a lot. They have the courts. They have everything working for them for now, and they can use it to their. Talking about APC, PDP, look at Atiku and Bola Tinubu. They are children of the same political parents. Musa, late General Major General Musa Yar'Adua. Musa Yar'Adua was banned by Babangida from contesting election. But Atiku was not banned. Atiku contested the election in 1992 and won as governor of Adamawa State. That was the first annulment that happened before June 12th annulment. That election was annulled by Babangida. Now, Bola Tinubu also contested in the same 1992 into the Senate. He won. I remained there. You see, what endeared the activist to Bola Tinubu was his intention to get the National Assembly running during that diarchy of Babangida. Babangida being at the executive and having civilian National Assembly. Bola Tinubu wanted that National Assembly to continue, but he was not a principal officer like Iyosha Ayu. If Senator Iyosha Ayu had cooperated with the group that Bola Tinubu put together, maybe Abacha wouldn't have been able to come to power when Ernest Shonekan's government, interim national government, was declared by late Justice Dolapo Akinsoya as being illegal. It was on the back of that judgment that Abacha rose to power. And Abacha had earlier warmed himself into the minds of activists before then that what was going on under Babangida was wrong, even as a military man. So when Abacha came, that euphoria that, because he has criticized military government before, we thought that he was going to do something better, not knowing that it was going to be worse. Your chairman here was detained, was actually jailed for life, commuted to 15 years. For what? For information gathering. He was editor of the Diet newspaper. How would you say a journalist gathered information and because of that he has committed treason? And that was what took him. He was chained behind a pickup van for several days before he was taken to dungeon. It was when the new government came, I think under Abdul Salami, that he was released. He would have served 15 years jail term. And several other people like Chris Anyang, who was also a journalist. Several other people were detained with him. So that is where we were coming from. That was what Bola Tinubu wanted to work against. But he didn't have his chance. When Abacha came, the National Assembly was dissolved. And that is the end of it. Now, Atiku has always been contested in June, contested against Abiola as aspirant in Jos. Abiola won. Now he has been trying to become the president after his tenure as the vice president to Olusegun Obasanjo. He had not succeeded at any time. Why is it not succeeding? I don't see him as succeeding this time around. The reason why he's not succeeding was because of the face-off he had with Olusegun Obasanjo. Remember that he was the chairman of National Council for Privatization. And he privatized all the commanding height of the economy then into who? To those who will amass wealth on his behalf. And Obasanjo actually accused him that the wealth he has accumulated will be enough to run a family for more than 400 years. And that God will not forgive him if he supported, that is, Obasanjo said, God will not forgive him as Obasanjo if he supported an Atiku to become president of this country because of the atrocities he believed that.
But he supported.
Now listen, you will remember also that there was PTDF, Petroleum Training Develop. I can't remember the full meaning now, where Atiku was said to have pillaged the resources. Now, if Obasanjo supported him, remember what he said. He didn't say Atiku didn't commit all those atrocities he alleged him to have committed. Go and read his My Watch. Okay? Read Obasanjo's My Watch. If he can expunge the beats on Atiku from that book, then we win. No. But Obasanjo is somebody who should know. He knows him inside out. So if he's supporting him now, he has a different reason. And that is the reason why Nigeria cannot repose confidence in him.
Okay, now, come to think of it, he has the Delta State governor as running mate now. Shouldn't that actually be seen as a guarantee for success in the forthcoming election?
You see, there's a problem with Okowa becoming his running mate.
What's the problem?
Betrayal. Treachery, and that is what is happening in southern part of the country now. Okowa was the chairman of Southern Governors Forum when they team up with Southeastern Governors Forum to make a statement that presidency should come back to the south. Now, for him to have jettisoned that written or unwritten agreement between all of those governors to become the running mate to a northern presidential candidate of PDP. It's a betrayal that not many of the governors in the southern part of the country want to forgive him. And if they don't forgive him, they will not mobilize for him. But don't forget also that the ruling party had some governors and former governors as their members in the southern part of the country. Okorocha has not left APC. Ojus Okalu has not left APC. Umahi is still there. All of them, including Rotimi Amechi, they are still in APC. These are the people that we mobilize for APC. Apart from those who are disgruntled about an Okowa joining a northern presidential candidate, which they have written against. And even in the north, where Atiku is coming from, more than 13 governors are against him out of 19. So
it means he doesn't even stand a better chance.
He doesn't stand a better chance.
But then, what thing do we have to say about this Muslim ticket that Tinubu has put forward? You know, coupled with the fact that we still have some who have, kicked against that. Although there is a speculation that APC only gave Kabiru's name as Tinubu's running mate.
That's right.
So there is every possibility that, he will still be dropping that just to be able to meet the deadline, June 17th deadline.
That's right.
But then with all this speculation and the Muslim ticket, what is the guarantee that Tinubu would eventually have a Christian running mate, based on the fact that, you know, there is the belief that it's only a Muslim from the northern part of the country that could actually give a better win or a bigger win come 2023.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, personally, I don't believe in having all this primordial consideration when it comes to governance. We had a practicing Muslim as the president, and we had a practicing Christian as the vice president in the present dispensation. What difference have they made? They have not been able to make any difference. So Nigerians should open their eyes beyond religious consideration or ethno-religious consideration. They should look at competence. They should look at those who have what it takes to champion the cause of the majority of the people of this country. And like we are saying that democracy should be redefined to show that it's a government that implements those program and agenda that satisfy the yearnings of majority of the people rather than Christian. But then perception can be stronger than the reality in some cases. And that is why we are saying that, look, there's no complete dot of Christian politician in the northern part of the country. Sometimes you can do what is necessary in order to satisfy the unknown. What is necessary now is that you should not leave any stone unturned. If majority of people are saying that they wanted a Christian Muslim Christian ticket, then do it for them. We have several Christians. Dogara has been named. Even Pauline Talin had been named. Who's a woman? You can even make a woman the vice president. Several. Boss Mustafa has been named. Babachi Alawa has been named. Several people can be. But then the political strength of this individual could be the albatross if they are not acceptable to those who actually canvass for the candidates before he won the election, the northern governors. Now, it is these governors that have assumed the position of kingmakers. They are the ones who have strong war chest that they can deploy for anybody that they so fancy. Now, if anything should go against their wishes, then they may migrate in drove. The way they came, they may migrate again to another one that would dance to their tune. And that might be the reason for the delay that is going on. I also advise Tinubu and APC that if they want to make things happen, they should find a northern Christian that can be a good running mate in consultation with northern governors that have also thrown their weight behind the candidature of Tinubu. If he's able to do that successfully, I think it will be for him. But if he doesn't, nobody knows what could happen. Nobody know for sure that, okay, everybody is going to accept his choice.
Now, yes, you said earlier that Nigerians should look beyond, open their eyes and see beyond religion.
That's right.
Of course, we also have the issue of ethnicity.
That's right.
Ravaging our political world. But now, there is actually nowhere in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that where religion is a factor, okay, or characteristic as to who becomes the president or who becomes the running mate. But in Nigeria, can religion be absolutely separated from politics?
It can be separated, but not now. For now, a lot of Christian folks believe that there is an agenda, just like the former president Olusegun Obasanjo once said, an agenda to Islamize Nigeria. And if that came from no less a person than the former head of state and former president of this country, then a lot of Christian I mean, a lot of people in the Christendom will believe him. And anybody that want to have a Muslim ticket, not minding the fact that the wife of Tinubu is a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, they won't mind that. They won't look at that. They will see a Muslim ticket of APC as a furtherance of the agenda to Islamize Nigeria. It will be seen as an agenda of a Tinubu to dance to the tune of the caliphate. And if that gains ground, then it will be difficult to convince an average southerner that Tinubu meant well in a way that can change. But then if Tinubu can devise a means of convincing the southern people with majority Christians that a Muslim ticket does not necessarily translate to Islamization of Nigeria, because even his behavior was like the behavior of an MKO Abiola. You know, when MKO was here, he was an indiscriminate philanthropist. Tinubu also has built churches and assisted several Christian establishments. And when the struggle was actually going on, he didn't separate anybody on the basis of ethnicity or religion with what he did. He sold his property to help the businesses of those who in exile. And if you heard about Nadeko, he actually funded Nadeko overseas and funded many of the exiles that moved from Nigeria to seek refuge in another country. The famous Nadeko route along the Seme and Idiroko border was created by him, and all the what took people out of this country was funded by him. So it doesn't matter whether you are Muslim or a Christian during the days of that struggle against the military hegemony in this country. So I don't know how he could remind people of all of that. If you heard about Abeokuta outburst, it was on the strength of the fact that those who should tell the true story of how we got here were the ones falsifying our recent history. That's why he has to tell his own story by himself. And he needs to convince people that he has performed, even as a Muslim, in a way that didn't favor any religion in the past. And if he could do it then, I believe he could do it again.
Okay, now, definitely, when it comes to poverty, sickness, no religion is being talked about because it affects everyone.
Exactly.
Death affects everyone alive. Okay. Now, is the landslide? Let's look at the landslide of Bola Tinubu having just concluded APC presidential primaries. Could that be seen as a testament to the acceptance he enjoys across the country, or you think it was just padded or being, put across like he actually has the acceptance of everyone?
Thank you very much. Somebody made a joke that while others were buying delegates, Tinubu was buying aspirants. It was a lie.
Okay.
I think I know that much. Because until that day of primary election, some of the aspirants were even bitter that Tinubu was still contesting. They didn't make themselves available to be bought. Not Amosun, not Fayemi, not anybody, not Goswe Akpabio. Okay? So he couldn't have bought them during that period. So it is the swing that happened in the northern part of the country that swung the whole thing in favor of Bola Tinubu. He got so much votes from that part of the country, and some of the southern part delegates refused to be railroaded they refused to be railroaded in a particular direction. They didn't even allow aspirants to take them to the Eagle Square where the election took place. So he couldn't abort them. I think it is because people thought that he has contributed immensely to the survival of their own political party. And you also know that he spent across the party lines. When Mimiko was in Labour Party, he assisted. As a matter of fact, even the forensic, examination of ballot papers was done, was funded practically for those people by him. And he also, I don't want to sound as if I know him beyond himself. But then I believe that it's a statement of how popular he is. That primary election, the so-called landslide. You can't expect that an Osinbajo will have as much influence as a Tinubu. The only thing that could have given any other person ticket would have been that consensus thing that the president refused to accede to. If he has succeeded to that and had to handpick somebody, that would have been the only thing. But then, you know that Electoral Act provided that if a consensus will be reached, all the other aspirants should jettison their aspiration in writing format. And Tinubu was the only one amongst all the aspirants in the APC during the screening that said that he would not succumb to consensus candidature. And that was what did it. If he had succumbed, they might pick somebody else. Remember that the chairman of APC, Abdullahi Adamu, chose Ahmed Lawan as the consensus candidate, even against the dictates of Mr. President. That was jettisoned because it would have created a kind of conflagration that would be difficult to douse. If the chairman of the party is a northerner, the present president is a northerner, the senate president is a northerner, everybody will now become northerners. That wouldn't have been acceptable to an average southerner, and it would have destroyed what remained of APC. I believe that stubbornness, holding to his own mandate, his own aspiration with all that stubborn gusto, did the magic that even saved the APC of the embarrassment itself.
Now, sir, as an individual, is Tinubu, irrespective of who becomes his running mate?
That's right.
We're still assuming that Basari is, is Tinubu gifted the tenacity to successfully actualize the incontrovertible vertical victory and amid apparent challenges? Because definitely challenges abound. Do you see him being able to individually carry the poll electorate along and win the vote?
My sister, what happened at that primary election is a pointer to the sagacity of the man called Tinubu when it comes to political matters. He was virtually alone. You know what? Many of the reliable listeners that he could point at were working against his interests. How many people did you see spoke for him? There are not many. Apart from Bajabi Amila and those who are not in political limelight, like Bayo Onanuga, those are the people that are speaking for him. Sam Omaseye, all of these people are in the media. Bayo Onanuga was his spokesperson. So those are the people speaking for him. The politicians, yes, Fashola didn't contest, but he didn't come out boldly to speak for him during that. Aregbesola didn't speak for him. Osinbajo was speaking against him. Fayemi was speaking against him. These are people that are, you didn't hear Senator Opeyemi Bamidele speak for him. I mean, in the open. Now, these are the people that should be his, I mean, they are foot soldiers. No, they are mouthpieces. Okay. His mouthpieces. Okay. Because they work together. Not even Ms. Banere, all of them didn't speak for him. They worked together during the days of the military. They also knew what he contributed to the fight during the military era. But they didn't speak for him. Osinbajo, that is why a lot of people are talking about betrayal. Osinbajo was just like a surrogate. I'm sorry to use the word, if it is a vow. Tinubu will have become the vice president. You know, I said that, okay, people like Saraki have said that, look, Muslim tickets will not all go well for Nigeria. It is not because of Nigeria that they canvass that position. It's because Saraki was already eyeing the Senate presidency. So he knew that if the president is a Muslim, the vice is a Muslim, they won't want to allow the Senate president to be a Muslim. That was what he did. But then he did this successfully. Now, you know, said that since that act, that impression had gained ground, you are a pastor, as Professor Osinbajo, go and take over this position. When I'm ready, I will come. Now, when like an average Nigerian politician, when they get to a position of power, they want to glue themselves to the seat. They see advantage, they see opportunities, they see power in its raw nakedness. They see all of the conveniences and luxury that follow it. They don't want to go again. That was what could have happened to Osinbajo. Now, if Tinubu didn't do the Abeokuta outburst, a lot of people will believe that, oh, Osinbajo was innocent, was smooth talking and all that. That is not what does government. Tinubu did Lagos. When Lagos, before he took over, Lagos was one of the dirtiest cities in the world and less endowed with infrastructural facilities. He provided a number of infrastructural facilities apart from cleaning up Lagos, and had a plan, more than maybe about 20 years plan in 5 years beat. And part of it is the light rail, part of it is the several things, this what do you call it, BRT, and so many things like that, including even the planting of flowers to decorate Lagos. He did that as part of the plan. Now, if he could think ahead like that, it means that the only mentor he could point out would be the late Obafemi Awolowo, who had a vision and pursued that vision to excel as a champion of governance in Africa. And that is why a lot of people want us to go back to 1963 Constitution, so that we have this regional government. You can develop at your own pace, not the present arrangement that the development, I mean the underdevelopment of one part of the country will bog down the development of another part of the country. So basically, we believe that if he was alone during that primary election or run up to the primary election, and still had what you have just mentioned as landslide victory, it means that he has what it takes to dwarf his competitors.
All right, now his major competitor is actually Atiku Abubakar, though some are still naming the Labour Party candidate.
Yeah.
Okay, that yes, he also stands a chance, even NPP. All right, because definitely you have votes being divided in the south and votes being divided in the north. But let's take a look a bit at Atiku himself. He's been in this game for years as well. And I so believe that he didn't go back to sleep. He kept working and he's still working till now.
Yeah.
Don't you see him, throwing in a card, an ace that could actually change the whole narrative that we have now?
Well, that is if Tinubu and Obi kind of leave their flanks open. Atiku doesn't have the whole of the north. He has a sizable part of the northeast. As a matter of fact, mainly Adamawa. He doesn't have Bono. He doesn't have Ijobe. He doesn't have Katsina. He doesn't have Kano. Kano will be divided between Ganduje and Kwakwanzo. Kwakwazia movement is a, formidable force, yes. But Ganduje himself is not a pushover when it comes to Kano. Then Katsina, Kaduna, where you have an Erufai and all of that, they are not working for the what did I call it now?
NPP.
No, PMC. What did the organization that came before SDP. This front that was led by late Musa Yaradua.
Okay.
So they are no longer working together under that banner. Okay? If that is what is going on now, and despite the fact that they are of the same political stock, and Bola Tinubu could get as much as 13 out of 19 northern state governors, then what difference will an Atiku make? I mentioned some governors and former governors that are still with the ruling party. Now, what mark will an Obi make? Not even Anambra, you see, commanding all the structures there. And in fact, he has been criticized that he didn't turn Anambra to a Dubai before he left. So what advantage did Anambra have when you say you kept about $500 million and there's no physical development? Gully erosion is still ravaging them. The cottage industry is still not being assisted by government. Wasn't assisted then and still in the same way. They have dilapidated roads. They don't have industrial hub or industrial estates where you can say that, oh, this was done by an Obi. What are his legacies in Anambra State that people can bank on than the stinginess? Apology to Father Mbaka. If you are stingy, it's not at the detriment of infrastructural development of your state. You don't keep money, you spend it.
It's not being prudent.
Yes, and being prudent should be investing people's money on people's needs, not just keeping it away from being spent. That is not good governance. Oh. But then, Peter Obi himself is a capitalist and has been accused of spending state fund on family business, especially next. Okay? So these are some of the things. So people will still believe that he's still part of the same old stock.
Daybreak. The Daybreak Show.